recover loud. Let's go. I'm on a journey to discover the truth. Living life in recovery is lovely. You got the power in you. Surround yourself with positive energy. Judges hitting people with provocative penalties. Need to make a change. Advocate to change the laws. Prove to people that it's not insane. When you stand behind a cause, I'm here to speak about the pain. Recover loud to normalize the disease that's been killing all my friends and my family. The time is now to let it all go and recover loud. The benefit is healthy people, family and friends that never have to overdose ever again, never have to plead out to a lesser offense. I'm proud to say that I recover loud. I never thought I could, but I'm so proud that I discovered how to live my life again, controlling my own destiny. I needed recovery, I still need it desperately. Addiction never defined my identity. I recover loud, here to tell my own story. I recover proud, save a life of like 40. I recover loud, yeah, I recover loud. I recover loud, yeah, I recover loud. I recover loud, here to tell my own story. I recover proud, save a life of like 40. I recover loud, yeah, I recover loud. I recover loud, yeah, I recover loud. I recover loud. I recover loud. I recover loud. I recover loud.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of Recover Loud. Today my guest is Jillian Bell from Wade, Maine. Jillian, thanks for coming and sharing your story with us today. Jillian, can you tell us what it was like for you as a kid growing up, and where were you living?
I grew up in North Smithfield, Rhode Island, which was a very good town to grow up in, nice suburban area, and I went to high school there, graduated there.
Yeah, and what kind of student were you in school?
Oh, I had a lot of trouble in school. I had a lot of issues with like bullying, so I wasn't very focused on school. And then I ended up dropping out to go to like a Vogue school. Then I graduated in 2011, but by the skin of my teeth. I wasn't driven then when it came to school. I slacked off and I cared a lot about what other people thought about me and you know, just the typical high school drama stuff that every teen goes through at some point. But for me, it was pretty bad.
Yeah, and a lot of times, you know, that's the best we can do. Get through it and, you know, try to live our life.
Right.
So how did it go after high school?
So after high school, I worked at a restaurant called the Village Haven, which is like family-style chicken. It was really delicious restaurant to go to. And I stayed pretty busy with work, and then I ended up like kind of meeting my daughter's biological father. At the time we started seeing each other, and then just things kind of started not looking so good after that. You know, it just turned into a different situation, and we just both weren't good for each other, and it made me a different person. So then like I wasn't focused on my job. I was no call, no shows. I wouldn't show up. I'd be job to job. Yeah.
So what led you to start using substances?
So after high school, I mean, I was dabbling in and out of like pills. Like sorting pills was like a really big thing. Even like back in the day, it was just like, you know, cocaine or like pills and stuff like that. I ended up getting stuck on some of that. I dabbled on and off. But it wasn't to the point where like if I stopped I was sick, because I was just kind of dabbling. It wasn't like an everyday use type of thing. So that was like the kind of first start of me messing around with heavier drugs, and of course like I smoked tons of weed as a teen and stuff like that.
So were the pills more of a party situation for you?
No, it was more like, I don't know, I just wanted them.
Yeah.
And it just seemed yummy at the time.
Yeah.
And it was like, you know, Percocets and Vicodin and stuff like that.
And the people you were around, everybody was doing it.
Yeah,
as well.
Everyone was doing it, and it was just like the type of thing where like you're in it, you're sitting there and you're like,
yeah,
hey, I guess I do it. And
right.
I just do it, and then, but you don't know that ends up it causes a dependency. And then I got clean from all that, was doing really well, had an apartment, then, you know, got pregnant for my daughter, had my daughter, and then after my daughter, I ended up getting stuck on payments that they gave me for childbirth. So I ended up getting stuck on that, and then when there was no more, like, I got sick because there was nothing. So then I just basically started going to like street drugs, which was, for me, it was the heroin, which is street drug.
So you got into heroin pretty quick.
Pretty quickly, and it's, I would say, like after I was doing Percocets for a while, it was easier to get right into heroin, as odd as it sounds, because the dependency was kind of already there because it was a higher milligram pill. So when I first started doing it, and I didn't even know what heroin was, my girlfriend was like, "Oh, you should get this, it's cheaper, you know, just do that and you can have it longer," and I had no idea what it was.
Right.
No clue, never even focused on what that was.
And where were you living at that time?
That was still Rhode Island.
Okay.
Yeah, all of my drug use happened in Rhode Island, and then I moved to Maine in 2015 to get clean and to, you know, start basically a new life because I had lost custody of my daughter at that time. And
so, what else? What did that addiction to heroin do to you over time?
I ended up overdosing 3 times on fentanyl that was laced in it, and I was in my third overdose. I was in a coma for 6 days on life support.
Wow.
So it's super easy to die from. It really is. It's all chemistry. It's all based on your body weight, and if you have too much, you know, it's a medication. Literally, hospitals use fentanyl for pain management for surgery. So
I was actually prescribed fentanyl for quite a while.
Yes.
And it was easy to get hooked on. The feeling, if you're using it for pain, I was prescribed it for pain, and it worked. It worked great.
It works phenomenal.
You know,
it's amazing.
Yeah.
But it's just so quick to fall in love with because it's the effect that it gives you with these downers. It just gives you that euphoric feeling like you're floating and you're invincible and nothing can hurt you, and you're just, it's just an amazing feeling, as bad as that sounds, and that's easy to get stuck on.
Yeah, and being an opiate painkiller, you know, I was able to function every day when I had it, you know, and it got to the point where I couldn't function if I didn't. You know, so I definitely understand that. What did you lose during that time when you were using?
So
what did it cost you?
It almost cost me my life, and it cost me my daughter. You know, and life is so short, and I was so invested in doing something that could just easily take my life. You know, and it doesn't care what you have or what it takes. Addiction will take your money, your family, your friends, your job, your house, your car, your reputation, your credit, like anything. It ruins literally everything. Once I woke up from my coma, I just needed to get away. And I had my mom buy me a plane ticket here. I've been coming here ever since I was 3. My stepdad's from Limestone.
Okay.
So this was always like a second home for me. So after I lost custody of my daughter and then basically almost losing my life, it just flicked a switch. And even though I was detoxing and I was extremely sick, coming off of not only fentanyl but heroin because it was a laced substance, I was heavily addicted. I was having hallucinations. I was having seizures. My mom had to have the ambulance come to get me multiple times, in and out of rehab, you know, not driven at first, you know, on and off of Suboxone and methadone. And it was hard to quit then. But then when something dramatic and drastic happens, like losing my child, that is a huge impact on someone. It was for me, at least.
And that gave you the drive to get better so that you could be the mom.
Yeah, it was just like that. And I went through withdrawals, 2 weeks of just pure hell, and you just have to get through it. And then once you're through it,
you detoxed at home,
all on my own. Yeah. And I didn't want to take the Suboxone, even though I had it, because Suboxone is synthetic, and it is still technically an opiate. It just helps you come off of those withdrawals without being in severe pain, and helps you just wean off slowly.
Yeah.
So hopefully one day you just forget about it and then it's not even there.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people today that are using Suboxone to help deal with that. And what I found, because when I first went into detox, I didn't want to be on it. I had seen people on the streets abusing it,
It's hard to
trading
get off
it,
of.
selling.
Yep.
And but I went that route, and what I found is it freed me to work on myself and get better. It was just that little bit to really keep me focused on not searching for drugs, not needing to find something.
Yeah.
So really, it got rid of that obsession for me.
Yeah.
What was it like when you finally realized that you could move on and not be stuck on that? How long did the withdrawals take? And how did it feel when you figured that out?
So the withdrawals from like start to finish, I would give it a solid month, maybe more. The first 2 weeks is really bad, and then the last couple weeks is more like just coming out of a fog and not having the body aches anymore, and just kind of like standing on your own 2 feet and just being like, this is going to be a new me.
Yeah.
And a new start to everything. And but once you get through that, like, I live such a good life now, and I choose to live a good life because I lost my best friend to addiction, and a few other friends in high school to addiction. And if I was still there, that would have been me too.
Yeah.
And it's sad to see that she had to go, but that must have just been her path.
Yeah.
There's different paths and different stories for everyone.
Yeah, and it's really hard for people to understand in the moment when we lose people in the recovery world. People who are still using, when we lose somebody to overdose, it's such a bad feeling. But we can use that to go out to try to help the next person. And that's really what I had to do, because I see people dying every day.
Sad.
And I may not know every one of them, but I know the struggles that they were going through. And to know that they weren't able to get up out of it hurts. And we have to continue to do the work, not only to keep ourselves safe, but to try to help somebody else.
Yes.
And
I know a lot of other addicts, they probably think it's impossible, I can't do it, I can't live without it. You can.
Yeah.
You can live without it, because I'm 7 years clean of a drug that I thought was going to have me forever. It's all in your mindset. Even if you don't have the resources, just change the way you think, change who you hang out with, change all your situations. Stay home and be a couch potato. Just keep yourself safe and just brainstorm on what you can do to just not be in the grasp of addiction. And it's definitely harder than it sounds at first. But once, like, the first 3 years for me were kind of rough. I thought about it a lot, even though I was clean.
Did you have drug dreams?
Horrible drug dreams, and I actually just had one last night, and I think it was because I was getting ready to kind of talk about things. So I have really bad PTSD from it. I'm on medication as of now, from my doctor to help with severe panic attacks, anxiety, PTSD, depression.
Were you diagnosed with any of that prior to your substance use?
Yes, I have what they call borderline personality disorder, which isn't really categorized in bipolar. But like, I would struggle with mood issues, and stuff like that. And, I think it definitely amplified and got worse after my addiction. Sometimes I'll just panic for no reason, or I'll have emotional breakdowns, or I'll have these horrible drug dreams of things that I've already gone through, like in my drug past, like my friends, like my best friend Megan, and just things that. And the dreams are so real that you can smell it and taste it. And you wake up feeling sick. It's very intense, and it's
Yeah.
not something I would wish upon anybody. But as the years go by, my drug dreams have gotten better. They were really bad at one point where my husband had to shake me out of sleep because I'd just be screaming.
Yeah.
And I don't remember any of that, but he was like, you were like in a panic, or you were running from someone or something. And it's it's just the drug dreams. And
Yeah, and sometimes people wake up and they feel like they've actually used.
yeah,
The guilt and the shame is there, and it's really hard to move on.
Yeah, like when I had mine last night, it was about my heroin addiction, and I was in a scenario where I ended up overdosing, and I woke up feeling like I had woken up, like when they used Narcan on me, the rescue at the hospital, because I was technically flatlined the first 3 times I overdosed, and every time they used Narcan to bring me back, and that is basically waking up from the dead is a very horrible feeling.
Yeah.
You feel you can't see, everything's like white, and you're vomiting, and you're feeling really sick, and it felt like that this morning when I woke up. I was like, why do I feel so ill? And I just made myself realize, like, that was just a dream.
Yeah.
Like, I know I didn't use, like, I'm fine.
Right.
So, but those will get better.
Yeah.
They'll get better.
Yeah, absolutely.
One day at a time.
Yeah, and dealing with that is just one thing that we deal with in recovery, and it's normal for almost everyone to deal with.
Yep.
That's one of the worst things that people tell me about in their recovery is having these drug dreams and having that feeling of shame and guilt the next morning. But like you said, remembering that it is just a dream, and there's no reason to feel that way. So, what do you do today to keep yourself from going back?
So, I don't think I could ever really go back, just based on everything it's done to me, and like, the things that were taken from me, and just going through that and having serious issues still to this day. Like, I have a lot of demons I still work through.
Yeah.
I've done terrible things in my addiction, and it's something that will always stick with you, and it's hard. So keeping yourself busy is always good. So now I run a full-time bakery right in Washburn, and I have my license to do it right from my commercial kitchen, and I sell to some of the stores here in Presque Isle and Caribou, and I keep very busy. I don't leave myself hardly any leg room, or when I do have leg room, it's always with my family. I'm kind of really secluded now. I don't really want to have a lot of friends. I have like maybe 3 friends.
Yeah.
And I like to keep it that way, and they're all really good, amazing people. And of course I have like my brother-in-law and my husband and my father-in-law, my mother-in-law, like, and my parents. Like, I have people that are really proud of me, and
Having that support really makes a difference.
yeah, because not a lot of people can go through something like addiction and sometimes live through it. There are too many young people that are dying from addiction,
Yeah.
and something needs to be done.
Yeah, over the weekend I actually attended a funeral for a local girl.
I think she was like 22, 23.
Yeah.
I did hear about that
Yeah,
as
and
well.
I didn't know her personally, but my children did. And her older brother Ben is on the board of Recovery Heuristic with me. So I did have that personal connection, and to be honest, I was very impressed at the funeral. The family discussed addiction, and they discussed how they loved her and how it didn't change her. It didn't make her somebody that didn't deserve to be loved. They did the best they could with her. Just unfortunately, it wasn't enough for her to get through it. And telling the truth about it really impressed me. They didn't skirt the issue. And I think it was beneficial for the community that was there to really hear what her parents had to say. And the funeral touched me, and as I said earlier, using these deaths as, drive to help the next person. I think this one helped me in that aspect. I am trying to do more for the community because of the people we lost, and sharing your story and others like yours, I think is how we can do that.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I also still struggle with is like the feeling of, like you said, guilt, but not just in the dreams, like just me being here and breathing every day.
Yeah.
I feel guilty because my girlfriend Megan, she was my everything. I went to high school with her. We hung out a lot, and then of course during our drug addiction, we lived together for quite some time. We did everything together, and she always wanted to get clean.
Yeah.
But it was just hard for her. And sometimes how bad the addiction is, it just has a hold on you. And some people just can't get over that threshold,
Yeah.
even though they want to. And some people are so judgy, like, oh, this is a choice. No, I prayed to God when I was living on the streets, living in my car, had no money, no food, and going through withdrawals. I would literally pray for him to take me, because it's not something you want to live through. And I prayed for him to help me. I prayed for him to heal me.
Just anything.
Anything.
Yeah.
And it upsets me that I'm here and she's not,
Yeah.
because she deserved a chance, and so does everyone else that has lost their life to addiction. There's
And
so much more to life.
But it's important for you to remember too that your daughters deserved a chance at the life that they have today. And if you weren't here, they wouldn't be either.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, so your life does have purpose and meaning, and sharing your story is going to help other people. You know, and that's the gift that you have to give to the world right now. You know, so I know I appreciate that you're here today.
Thanks for having me.
You know, I wish your friend was here as well.
I do too.
But you know, as you said earlier, not everyone gets to move on from their addiction.
Unfortunately.
So, would you like to share where we can get some of your snacks?
I have a website called bellsvarietybakeshop.com, and I specialize in wedding cakes and birthday cakes, all customizable, and I do like all sorts of baked goods, so like whoopie pies, cookies, cookie sandwiches, cake pops, croissants, danishes, like literally anything. I make really good doughboys too.
Now, are you available for people to place orders for events?
Yep.
Things like that?
So if anyone would ever be interested, you just go on Google and you type in my website, and I'm actually a legal listed business right on Google. And you just go to my website and you click message or contact me, and it sends a message right to my email. And then I'll text you, call you, or email you back.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. Jillian, we're going to take a break to get a word from our sponsors, and when I come back, I'm going to ask her one of the questions I've been receiving from a lot of the viewers out there. Stay tuned.
Anderson's Auto Repair, locally owned and operated in Sweden, Maine, specializes in all make, all model vehicle diagnosis and repair. Each individual service is backed by our nationwide TechNet 2-year, 24,000-mile warranty. Call or stop in to schedule an appointment today. Anderson's Auto, for wherever the road takes you.
Welcome back to Recover Loud. Jillian, one of the questions I've been receiving from a lot of the viewers is, and they're mostly from family members of someone struggling with addiction. They'd like to know what they can do to help support their son, their daughter, their brother or sister with the addiction that they're in right now. Is there anything that you could offer them as advice?
Just constant support is the number one thing. Because a lot of times, like when an addict thinks, okay, like my family has no faith in me, they don't think I can get through this, their mindset is just going to decline because they have no confidence. My family did really good with supporting me basically until they couldn't support me anymore. It was just getting to the point where it was, really, really hard on them. But just constant support and love, going out with them more, kind of taking them away from them being bored and wanting to go out and experiment or go hang out with people that may not be good for them. And of course, just any really good online resource meetings. I attended hundreds of meetings. There's really not much other than if you go downstate, there's some really good stuff down there. So just meetings, and if you need to talk to a provider, if they need help like getting Suboxone or methadone, that's always a really good resource. Getting a really good counselor, someone to talk to a counselor, just a mental counselor, mental health, all those things can definitely play a part in helping to aid someone in recovery.
And that's important. One thing you mentioned was meetings, and there aren't a lot.
There's not
But
a lot.
one of the things that I'm trying to do is start a Recover Loud meeting. Where we just got our office set up, and we'll be getting that meeting started here. It'll be an all recovery platform, because honestly, I don't care what it takes to get somebody clean. Or on the right path. I'll support it. And as a certified recovery coach here in Maine, it's part of my job to help people. And honestly, I don't care what it takes. And the support, it's when you have it from your family, it's such a, you have that hope that your family is there for you. And of course, you can go online. You can suggest they go online and find Recovery on the Road, my Facebook group. Currently, there's over 1,000 members of people in recovery and people that support those of us in recovery. Just providing hope and resources to others. So, those are some good options as well. But Jillian, I want to thank you for coming today and sharing your story. I'm glad you're here, whatever it took, and I'll be looking forward to trying some of your snacks.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to coming here for meetings. The
Yes.
first step is getting everyone in here
Yes,
to help.
exactly.
That's the first steps in recovery, is admitting that we had a problem and that we can heal. And there are people here that have gone through the same thing, and we're here to tell about it.
Exactly, and having an additional meeting, another option, is only going to benefit the community. So hopefully, when I get that started here at the studio, I'll see some of you guys here. But again, thank you, Jillian.
Thank you so much for having me.
It was great to meet you too.
Pleasure.
All right.
Welcome to Rick's Redemption, where we are family owned and operated. We strive in cleanliness, honesty, and customer appreciation. Rick's Redemption is a recovery-ready employer who believes wholeheartedly in redemption. Here at Rick's, we support Recovery Rustic and definitely are proud to recover loud. God bless.
I recover loud. 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 Let's go. I'm on a journey to discover the truth. Living life in recovery is lovely. You got the power in you. Surround yourself with positive energy. Judges hitting people with provocative penalties. Need to make a change. Advocate to change the laws. Prove to people that it's not insane. When you stand behind a cause, I'm here to speak about the pain. Recover loud to normalize the disease that's been killing all my friends and my family. The time is now to let it all go and recover loud. The benefit is healthy people, family and friends that never have to overdose ever again, never have to plead out to a lesser offense. I'm proud to say that I recover loud. I never thought I could, but I'm so proud that I discovered how to live my life again, controlling my own destiny. I needed recovery, I still need it desperately. Addiction never defined my identity. I recover loud, here to tell my own story. I recover proud, save a life of like 40. I recover loud, yeah, I recover loud. I recover loud, yeah, I recover loud. I recover loud, here to tell my own story. I recover proud, save a life of like 40. I recover loud, yeah, I recover loud. I recover loud, yeah, I recover loud. I recover loud. I recover loud. I recover loud. I recover loud.